At Christmas dinner, my aunt opened the door, rolled her eyes, and said, "We don't want you here, go ruin someone else's holiday." I looked inside and saw my whole family around the table laughing, so I just nodded, turned around, and said, "Got it." 10 minutes later, my dad burst through the door yelling my name. Christmas used to be my favorite time of year. The lights, the food, the music. The sense that even for a day we could all pretend things were okay. But that illusion shattered years ago, the cracks barely visible until someone finally said the quiet part out loud. This year, it was my aunt and Carla, my dad's older sister. She opened the door, took one look at me, and sighed like she had been preparing for this moment. Her eyes traveled from my face to the small box of cookies I'd brought and then back again. "We don't want you here," she said flatly, her voice low so only I could hear. "Go ruin someone else's holiday." I stood there stunned, holding the box tighter than I meant to. I looked over her shoulder. Inside, my whole family was already at the table. My cousin Greg was carving the turkey. My mom was laughing with my sister who'd flown in from Florida. Everyone had a plate, everyone had a place, except me. I swallowed and nodded once, more out of instinct than agreement. "Got it," I said, my voice surprisingly steady. I turned and walked back down the steps before I could give her the satisfaction of seeing me crack. It wasn't the first time I'd been left out, but it was the first time they made it official. The first time they didn't even bother pretending I was welcome. As I got into my car, I set the cookie tin on the passenger seat and stared at the steering wheel. I wasn't even sure where to go. Most of my friends were with their families. I hadn't made plans with anyone because I thought stupidly that this year might be different. My phone buzzed, a text from my sister. "Where are you? Dinner's starting." I blinked, so she didn't know. I typed back. "And Carla said I wasn't welcome." I left, no response. I waited a few minutes, but nothing came, so I started the engine and began to drive, no destination in mind, just the road and the hum of the heater. Then 10 minutes later, just as I was pulling into the gas station on 7th to get a coffee and try to salvage the night, my phone lit up again. Call from Dad. I stared at it, debating. We hadn't talked much since last year's blowout, but something told me to pick up. I did, and all I heard was yelling. "Where the hell are you?" he shouted. "What do you mean you left?" Before I could answer, I saw headlights in my rearview mirror. A familiar old blue truck pulled into the lot behind me, and out jumped my dad, furious, confused, and looking like a man who had just realized something was very, very wrong. My dad slammed the truck door so hard it bounced back open. He shoved it shut again and stormed toward me, eyes wild. His gray hair unkempt like he'd run straight out of the house. "You left," he barked, stopping just short of my driver's side door. "Why would you just? Why wouldn't you come inside?" I opened the window halfway. My heart pounding, I tried. "Carla answered the door. She said you didn't want me there." His mouth opened, but no words came out, just this weird, confused inhale. "Then what?" "She told me we don't want you here. Go ruin someone else's holiday," I said quietly, so I did exactly that. I left. He stepped back like I'd slapped him. "That doesn't make any damn sense," he muttered. "We set a place for you. Your mom made those weird mashed sweet potatoes you like." "Why would she?" "I don't know, Dad," I said, finally getting out of the car. "Why would she? Why would anyone?" I didn't want to make a scene. She made it clear I wasn't wanted. I hadn't meant to sound so calm. Inside, I felt like I was 12 again. The Christmas I opened a box of used books while my sister got a new iPad, that same hollow feeling like I was an afterthought, a burden. Dad paced, dragging his hand down his face. "God damn it, Carla," so I said, crossing my arms. "Did everyone else know, or just her?" "No one knew. Your mom's furious right now, your sister's crying. Greg thought you just ditched us. We were 2 minutes into grace when I noticed your chair was still empty." He looked me in the eye. "I swear to you, kid, I didn't know." That was the first time in a long time he called me kid. I looked away. "Doesn't really matter now." She said it like it was a family consensus. "Well, it wasn't," he said firmly. "And I'm about to go back and make that very clear. Don't bother," I muttered. "It's not like it's the first time I've been the odd one out." She just finally said what everyone else was thinking. "No," he snapped, "that's not true, and I've let too much slide over the years trying to keep this family from going nuclear. But not this." I blinked. "What do you mean?" He stepped closer, eyes locked on mine. "I mean, get back in your car. We're going back. You're walking through that door again, this time with me behind you. And Carla, she's going to explain herself in front of everyone." "Dad, I let too much go," he repeated, quieter this time. "Starting with the way they've treated you since you left school, like your choices made you less, like your job wasn't enough, like you weren't enough." His voice cracked just slightly. "I didn't say anything. You want to leave after dinner, fine, but you're walking in that house because you belong at that table. And if anyone's got a problem with that, they can be the ones sitting outside." I stared at him for a long moment. Then finally I nodded, "Okay." We got back into our vehicles, me and my little Civic, him in his dented old Ford, and drove back in silence. Tail lights blinking in the night like a slow, angry heartbeat. I didn't know what I was walking back into, but for the first time in years, my dad was walking in with me, and that changed everything. When we pulled back into the driveway, I sat in the car for a moment, watching the warm yellow light spilling from the front windows. My chest felt tight. Like I was walking into a courtroom, not a house full of relatives. Dad parked beside me and got out first. He didn't wait, just marched straight to the front door and knocked once, hard. The door opened slowly, and Carla again. This time her expression changed when she saw him, a flicker of surprise, then tight-lipped irritation. "David, did you find him?" she said carefully. "Step aside." My dad said, no warmth, no hello. "Excuse me, you heard me," he said. "We're coming in." He didn't wait for her to move. He walked right past her, and I followed, clutching the now slightly crushed cookie tin like a shield. Carla sputtered something behind us, but my dad was already halfway through the entryway, his voice booming. Everyone, can I get your attention? The laughter died down, heads turned. I saw my mom rise halfway from her seat stunned. My sister's eyes widened. Greg set down the carving knife. The room went silent. I found out why my son wasn't at the table, Dad announced. Carla told him at the front door that he wasn't welcome, a beat of silence. Then what? My mom gasped. My sister's mouth dropped open. Carla stepped in behind us trying to laugh it off. Oh, come on, David, that's not what I said. He must have misunderstood it. You told me to go ruin someone else's holiday, I said loud and clear. Pretty hard to misinterpret that. More silence. My mom looked like she'd been slapped. Carla, she said slowly, please tell me that's not true. Carla threw up her hands. I just meant we have so much tension lately. He always looks miserable when he's here. I thought he didn't even want to come. I was trying to spare everyone the awkwardness. So you decided for all of us, my mom asked, voice trembling. My dad looked ready to throw her out himself. Let's cut the crap, he said. You've been treating him like an outsider for years, talking behind his back, making those smug little comments about his job, his apartment, his life. And I let it slide because I didn't want to ruin the mood. But guess what? You ruined it, and if anyone here should be leaving, it's you. Carla blinked. You're seriously siding with him over your own sister? Damn right I am, he said. I was frozen. I never expected any of this, not from him. My sister stood up. I didn't know, she said, walking over to me. I swear I thought you just didn't show. I tried, I said. She answered the door. I'm so sorry, she whispered. Greg cleared his throat. I think we need to sit down, all of us, and talk like adults. I don't need to sit, my dad said. I just needed it said. He turned to me. You hungry? I nodded slowly. He pointed to the table. Then let's eat. Mom was already making space. My sister grabbed an extra plate, and for the first time in years, I felt like they actually saw me. Carla stood frozen in the doorway, humiliated and seething. No one invited her to stay. She left without a word. Dinner resumed, quiet or tenser. Forks clinked against plates. Eyes flicked toward the door where Aunt Carla had disappeared, like everyone was half expecting her to come back and screaming. But she didn't, and no one asked her to. I sat between my sister and Dad, the seat they'd saved for me all along. The food was lukewarm now, but I didn't care. For once, I wasn't eating with that brittle, awkward smile. I wasn't shrinking in my chair, waiting for the side-eye comments about my job or the forced small talk that always circled around everyone else's lives but mine. No one said anything nasty this time, not one backhanded remark, not even the usual teasing. In fact, about halfway through the meal, my mom reached across the table and put her hand on mine. I'm sorry, she said, voice low. I should have been the one to open the door. I didn't even know. Carla got up. I nodded. It's okay. It's not, she said. But I'll make sure it is. There was something in her face I hadn't seen in years, shame, maybe, or realization. I didn't need her to gravel, but the apology meant more than I expected. For so long, I thought she just didn't care, but maybe she was just used to me being the one who let things slide. Not anymore. Later, as dessert came out, pecan pie, my grandmother's old recipe, my dad nudged my arm. I'm proud of you, you know, he said, not looking directly at me, for showing up. For walking away when she said that crap. You didn't deserve it. You've never deserved any of it. I blinked back, the sudden heat in my eyes, and nodded. Thanks for coming after me. You finally looked at me. Should have done it years ago. That's when I knew something had shifted, not just in him, but in the whole dynamic. A crack had opened and the light was finally getting in. By the time I got up to leave, my sister had hugged me twice. Mom made me take leftovers, and even Greg offered a quiet, glad you came, man. I left the cookie tin behind. It sat in the center of the table, half eaten. For once, something I brought stayed. As I walked out, I glanced back, expecting to feel that same ache I always did, but I didn't. For the first time, I felt like I was walking from family, not away from it. And that was the real gift this Christmas. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more just like it, don't forget to like the video, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more stories. Your support helps these stories reach more people, and trust me, the next one, it's even wilder.